So we just now did the concept of principle of segregation, and once more repeating, the principle of segregation is that each individual organism possesses two alleles encoding a trait, encoding a trait. Alleles separate when gametes are formed. So here, two alleles encoding a trait, and the alleles separate when gametes are formed, and when alleles separate, they separate in equal proportions. So this was basically segregation of Mendel's first law, and as you can see, two alleles of a genotype, capital R, small r, chromosome replication occurring in prophase, one of meiosis, and then we can see two kinds of pathways depending on whether there is a crossing over, exchange of chromosomal paths occurring, or whether there is no crossing over. So here, as you can see, so we have a capital R, small r, and gamete formation is occurring. And in the gametes we have seen that this is anaphase 1, now anaphase 2, so it's capital R, small r. So it's anaphase 1 we get capital R, small r, and in anaphase 2 the two chromatids have separated and the segregation of the alleles have taken place. So as you can see, so each gamete now bears one allele. Either the allele is a capital R allele or the allele is a small r allele. This is the scenario when there is no recombination. When there is no recombination, this is the scenario. However, if there is recombination, we'll be dealing with recombination in our next part, that is unit 2. If there is recombination, that is, there is exchange of chromosomal paths between the two sister chromatids, between the two homologues. In anaphase 1, the chromosomes separate. In anaphase 2, the chromatids separate. So there has been exchange of chromosomal paths, as you can see, but yet again, each gamete bears a distinct set of alleles. As you can see, each gamete bears against a distinct set of alleles, so the segregation has taken place. So each gamete has either a capital R or a small r, and this capital R and small r are actually obtained from the parental capital R and small r. So this was Mendel's monohybrid cross and the principle of segregation. Next, what Mendel did was that when we come to the next part, what Mendel did was the dihybrid cross. Okay. So this is Mendel's dihybrid cross. So when we speak about Mendel's dihybrid cross, you see what's the difference? Two characters are taken into consideration. When we did the monohybrid cross, the character was round and wrinkled. But when the dihybrid cross are taken into consideration, Mendel wanted to see, what was the question? That do alleles encoding different traits separate independently? So if there are two characters in question, one is the round seed morphology and the other was the color. So when the seed was round or the seed was wrinkled, that's the morphology part. And then we have the seed color. It's yellow or green. That is the color part. Now whether these two characters are dependent on each other, or whether when they separate or they segregate independent of each other. So that was the Mendel's second law, as we all know it. It was termed as the independent assortment. Mendel's second law of independent assortment. So the first law was whether the two alleles segregate, how they segregate based on that. The second law was based on the fact that when we are taking more than one character in consideration, in this case two, whether the two characters are transmitted independently of each other or not. So that was the question. So if that was the question, just a second. So what he did, he took a round yellow seed and a wrinkled green seed. Now we know what alleles, and from the principle of segregation we have understood that of the two alleles, one is a dominant allele because that the character coded by that allele actually stands. For example, when we talked about the round seeds, as you can see, R, capital R denotes the round nature of the seed and small r denotes the wrinkled nature of the seed. But when we have a heterozygous condition like this, it is observed that the seeds that are obtained are all round seeds, clearly indicating that the color, clearly indicating that the morphology of the seed, the R allele, is dominant over the small r allele. So that is indicative from this results. So there is a dominant allele and there is a recessive allele. So now when we move to the dihybrid cross, so as you can see, this was already done in the monohybrid experiment. So there is a capital R and a small r. The capital R is the dominant allele, the small r is the recessive allele. So when both capital R and small r are present together, the phenotypic expression will be that of a round seed. Now let's go for the color. This is the other allele taken into consideration in Mendel's work. Yellow is for, the Y stands for yellow seeds and small y stands for green seeds. And it is very evident this is a preorbiting form. And as you can see, small y symbolizes that it is recessive. It is recessive to capital I. Similarly, small r is recessive to capital R. So this is known. Now when gamete, so this is the parental generation. So what he did, he took a pure breeding round yellow seed and a pure breeding wrinkled green seed. So these are two characters. And then he fertilized them. So when he fertilized them, what he got round yellow seeds. So phenotypically, he started with a round yellow seed into a wrinkled green seed. And phenotypically in the F1 he got a round yellow seed. When he self-fertilized this round yellow seed, now comes the F2 generation. You all know this ratio, you have studied about this ratio. He got 4 different varieties. 9 round yellow, 3 round green, 3 wrinkled yellow, 1 wrinkled green. So, what was his conclusion? The allele encoding color separated independently, and this is where the concept of independent assortment is coming into consideration. The allele encoding color separated independently of the allele encoding seed shape. So, the character for seed shape was independent of the character of the color of the seed, producing a 9:3:3:1 ratio in the F2 progeny. So from this deduction, he proposed his next hypothesis, the hypothesis of independent assortment, where he stated that alleles at different loci, these alleles are at different loci and they separate independently. That takes place in anaphase 1. So this was his second experiment. From the second experiment, I just want to show you a deduction of how to get. So this is a known example, but when we are doing crosses, how simply can we calculate the ratio of probability of obtaining the offspring? So this is a branch diagram mode. Now, if the alleles are independently assorted, we can assume that the segregation of the round allele is independent of the segregation of the yellow allele. So we can take them separately as two possibilities. This falls under the multiplication theorem of probability. I'll come to that later on. Now let's understand by this here. So when we are thinking about the round, since these two characters have assorted independently, we can identify these two characters as in separate manners and in separate crosses. So let us assume we did this cross earlier. Think of the Mendelian monohybrid cross. So what was the cross? When we self-fertilize, capital R small r is self-fertilized with a capital R small r. And what is the ratio we obtain when this kind of cross is done? We get 3/4 of capital R phenotype and 1/4 of small r phenotype. Mind it, I am using the word phenotype. When I am talking of a 3/4 capital R phenotype, that means phenotypically 3/4 of the plants have round seeds and 1/4 of the plants have wrinkled seeds. So now again I'm coming back to this cross. So when we are thinking of two different characters, two different alleles, and as Mendel said, the alleles are independently assorted, let us consider these two crosses separately. This is how we calculate the probability of how the progeny will come. This is how the probability is calculated. Now let us take the first cross. Capital R small r into small r small r. What will be the probability of round phenotype and what will be the probability of wrinkled phenotype? So when we did these crosses separately, capital R small r into small r, what we get? Half round category, half wrinkled category. Similarly, when we do this cross separately, when we take the other character and do it separately, capital Y into small y, what we get? Half yellow, half green. Now, how do we place this in the branch diagram and then come to the ratio? What will happen? So, by seeing this cross, how will we convert it into a branch diagram and come to the dihybrid ratio of this cross? This is a dihybrid cross. So what will be the ratio of this cross? Now let's see. What did we get? Round seeds. In the round seeds, we got half round seeds and we got half wrinkled seeds. Now we are combining the probability of this cross with the round seed. We are combining the two because when we are thinking of dihybrid crosses, we have to take the two characters into consideration. We cannot do it with a single character. So we need to combine these two crosses because the ratio will be a cumulative expression of both the characters. So what we do, we take half round seeds that we got here and multiply it with both the yellow and the green ratios. So half round seeds into half yellow seeds. So we get 1/4 round yellow seeds. Half round seeds into half green seeds. We get 1/4 round green seeds. So for this round, we multiply with both the yellow variants, yellow and the green variants, and for the wrinkled also we multiply with both the yellow and the green variants. For the wrinkled, half wrinkled seeds into half yellow seeds is equal to 1/4 wrinkled yellow seeds and half wrinkled seeds into half green seeds. So we are taking both the characters, 1/4 wrinkled green seeds. So if we do a dihybrid cross like this, the ratio proportions in which the progeny will appear will be 1:1:1:1. Round yellow is to round green is to wrinkled yellow is to wrinkled green. If somebody thinks that why should I start with green, let me start with yellow. Fine. So half yellow into half round, yellow round 1/4, half yellow into half wrinkled, yellow wrinkled 1/4, half green into half round, green round 1/4, half green into half wrinkled, green wrinkled 1/4. So this is how, by getting the individual ratio proportions of the crosses of the two characters, we when combine the individual ratio proportions, then we get the cumulative ratio of what the progenies will of how the progenies will appear in this cross of round yellow into wrinkled yellow. Just take this in mind that this particular character, so this wrinkled green, this particular seed is such a seed which is homozygous recessive for the morphology of the seed, that is the seed coat is wrinkled. It is also homozygous recessive for the color of the seed, that is green. So when we do a cross such that one of the partner is homozygous recessive for the characters in question, such a cross is known as test cross. Since there are two characters involved in this cross, hence it is a dihybrid test cross. So this was actually a round yellow test crossed with a dihybrid wrinkled green homozygous recessive category. I'll stop here today.